If you love chicken delicacy, just like me, you might have wondered, where does my chicken come from? Well, if you live in Mariakani, Kilifi, or in Mombasa, there's a high chance that this month you'll be consuming one of our birds. Yes, you heard it right. At Afrifama, that's why we produce quality birds and they are being delivered directly to you. Now, let's dive in and be able to see how this process is like. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Afrifama Poultry. Today it's day 30 and what we're doing today is processing of our birds. It's just unbelievable, right? The other day they were day-old chicks and today they are mature birds. So we started this process on day 28 whereby we had like 100 other birds, but unfortunately due to the nature of activities we had that day, we couldn't be able to vlog the activities. But today I would like to share with you the processes involved when it comes to meat processing from our farm. Now this morning we have a new order we are processing, so I will share with you what we do at the farm and how we go about all the duties. Stay tuned as we share more. Now, as you can see, we have an empty space here. So you remember this was the entire space has been preoccupied. But as I mentioned, on day 28, we have been processing orders from our local clients. Hence, that's why we can only see only a few birds are remaining on that end. So what we usually do is on this space, once we get an order just like today, we are going to use the scale there so we can be able to measure the weight of our birds. We remove them from there, we put them in this space for the next 3 to 4 hours as they wait processing. And you might wonder, why is this the case? So, number one, at Afrifama, we usually like to ensure the birds that are going to the marketplace, they meet the standard weight as we have agreed with our customer. Most of the time, we produce 1.2 kilograms all the way to 1.5 kgs depending on the client need. So for example, this morning our orders is from 2 joints. That one is a butcher shop and where the other one is a cuckoo joint, and for them their specifications are very simple. Ensure that you provide 1.2 dead weight. Now as a farmer, there are 2 ways I can use to determine. One of them is if it's for the choma joint, the guy will just come in and they will look at the bird, they can lift them and say, okay, these are good. But for me, I usually use what you see there. You see that is the machine, the weight machine. So we are with my farm manager, we are going to be removing the birds from this side. We'll be measuring them from this side, and eventually they are going to preoccupy this side. So stay tuned as we do the follow-up activities in a couple of few minutes time. So we have all set up. So this is the process we usually use. We'll just pick a random bird from the coop, place it on the weighing machine, and should we see or be able to highlight that the weight of this bird is 1.6 and above, then this bird qualifies for the processing, or what we call slaughtering. Because from what we have just noticed is every moment you pick a bird which is weighing close to 1.2, close to 1.6 kgs, if you tend to process it, that bird loses approximately 400 grams and you are left with 1.2. So most of the time it's quite advisable to pick birds which are averaging 1.6 to 1.7 grams. The same case, we have another bird here which have met the way. Let's just check him out. So it's just it's a long process. So you pick and then you check. That one is 1.9. It's just unbelievable. Within 30 days, you have a bird which is going close to 1.9 grams. So these activities, we are going to be carrying them out in the maybe in the next few minutes time, and yeah, once it's enough, 1.7, and it's qualified and it's joined its other friends. So you are measuring them from this side and we are moving them to now the empty side. And then something else interesting you will notice is on this side, whereby we are, is what we call the reading bay for birds. There are no feeds, and what we might put is just a few drinkers of water. Why is that so? Because imagine you're slaughtering your birds when you're just removing them directly from the feeding. Chances are you're just wasting the feeds. Now, it's advisable when it comes to the broiler farming, you need to be cost effective as possible. Now, these birds have enough weight. So it means if you still give them the feeds when they are about to be slaughtered within the 6 hours, that feed is not going to help them in any way, nor it's going to help you, because actually that is a loss making on your end. So that's why it's advisable. You can actually remove feeds and just leave in water for 5 to 6 hours pre-slaughtering period. I hope you've learned something new you didn't know. Actually, even for me, this is something new I never knew until I was able to learn it from online, and also to learn it from our friends who also practice poultry farming, as well as the vets. And before you actually say that's starving the birds, no, it's not starving the birds. Actually, it's just like you're trying to prepare the guts. Something else you didn't know, as you're going to see during the processing, is here in the coastal region, the people who do the processing of these birds, they make a huge business of selling the intestines as well as the legs, and that's what they call the marondo. Now, when the gut is clean, most of the time, this is even actually easier to be able to do the cleaning and to be able to process the intestine or the other parts of these birds. So let's see how the selection is going. So I know they're a little bit scared and a little bit relentless, because they're wondering what's going on. So we try as much as possible not to disturb them, but I mean, this is the final days. It's I would say it's a bit sad to see them go, but then again, it's essential, because you are in industry whereby if you don't ensure your birds are able to go to the marketplace as soon as possible, this is going to affect your profit margins, as well as improve by hurting your cost of operations. I hope you guys, you are taking the note of the same. So now that you've been able to see the whole process, let me also be able to step in, because these orders are needed to be processed within the next couple of hours, and I feel since today we're just two of us, we need to ensure that we are able to finish up the measurement, and then we are able to see what's next. So stay tuned as the whole episode unfolds. So we have finished selecting our birds. We finalized being able to finish harvesting of our birds, and now they need to be transferred to the slaughtering space. So they have been here for the last 2 hours, and now they can be transported. We usually use this kind of equipment. I know this is just a basin, but for us it's very effective when it comes to transporting them. So with my farm manager, we are going to remove them and transport them outside. Let's see how this one goes. Now the next step is usually to transfer them. So it becomes easier when now they are being moved outside our facility to where the birds are being processed. We are actually done with meat processing, and as you can see, we have our pieces here. They are actually being washed before later on they are being packed. Now what we usually do is, as for now, we don't have what we call state-of-art butchery, and as you know, we are still a young SMA, so we usually buy a nylon paper like this one, which is super clean, by the way. It's being washed. Then once the meat has been processed, then we usually move it to this spot, and then we are able to sort. Now the farm manager will start sorting it out, and hopefully you can be able to see how big the birds are. So that's how we do the washing, as we tend to arrange it before later on it's being packed up. Yeah, sometimes you don't need a multi-million slaughterhouse to be able to do the processing. Sometimes I think you just need to use what you have, and what you have is just few coins, and you can be able to bootstrap it and eventually be able now to have your meat, and maybe in the future, which I say you have the plans for the same, you can be able to have your own well-equipped slaughterhouse for the same. As you guys can see, we have our birds right there, as huge as ever. You can't believe, actually, most of them are averaging between 1.2 to 1.4 kilograms. This is usually affected by the fact that the feeds intake tends to differ, and yeah, this is just waiting the packaging, and then later on we'll see the birds leaving our own coop. Can really wait to see that happening. All right, so we've almost finalized the processing. Now on this particular process is whereby we are doing the packaging. Our client, we have an agreement with them that they allow us to do the packaging, but in the future we are planning to procure a modern facility or a modern product which can be used to transfer our birds from our slaughterhouse all the way to the final consumer. So as for now, we are going to put them in just the way you're seeing, and yeah, later on we'll have our transport guy who will come and he will later deliver them. I'm super excited that we have come close to the end of today's vlog. It's just unbelievable that 30 days ago we brought in these literal tiny birds which weighed less than 40 grams, and 30 days later we have had more than 1.7, 1.8 of live weight, and after harvesting we've been able to produce more than 1.3 kg. As this cargo leave our farm today, I leave behind as an excited farmer who had his own investment and was able to see the return on the investment. Because when it comes to poultry production is the ability to produce and the ability to deliver to the market. That's what determines the profitability or what we call if your farm is being successful or not. I hope in the future vlog we'll be talking about the numbers involved and how you can take advantage of that, or how you can be able to use this data to kickstart your own venture. And yeah, I'm also super tired. It's been a long day. I can't wait to get back home, refreshing up, and yeah, get maybe a sip of warm coffee and yeah, relax. I hope to see you guys in the next vlog where we'll be discussing what happened after you have removed your birds from the coop. See you in the next vlog, and thank you for subscribing and staying tuned in to Afrifama. I hope this insightful message can be able to encourage other young farmers or youth to venture into agribusiness, and we can be able to grow along the way. Bye.